at his concerts, and the stories that they were telling me, and some of the questions I was asking were just, again, I could talk probably for an hour and a half about last night and these folks on here, and I'm trying to cut it short. So again, this is one of those things where the book will tell a lot more detail. But had a great dinner with these folks, and didn't want to impose or anything, but they had one live musician out playing. Said, "Hey, do you want to go out to the deck and listen to some music for a song or two?" Absolutely. I'm here for the ride. You guys are the story. I just love being with these folks, and of course, as much as I'd rather be with my own family. In light of that, it's great to have a situation like this. Um, so we got out to the deck, and as we got a couple beers, Lisa went and sat down at the table. And as I was walking over, there was a table there which had like this raffle coming up. Um, I'm not sure it was a 50-50 Cleveland Indians tickets and things like that. So I said, what a lark if I fill it out and put it in and win. So I put my raffle thing in the thing, and we go and sit down. And sure enough, after two songs, the guy's making his announcements. And the winner for the Cleveland Indians tickets is James Smith. So who knew, right? And you kind of knew it's one of those dumb things that the minute I filled it out, if I did this at home 1,000 times, I'd never get it. But here in the middle of Ohio, I do it. And sure enough, I win two tickets to the Minnesota Twins Cleveland Indians game in August. And it was good because I'm usually the one treating the things and giving, and I haven't been able to. It's been weird when people want to treat me and buy me, and I can't say, let me get this, and I don't have it to do. So it's nice to be able to take those tickets and say, hey Max, thanks for everything today, and enjoy the game, kind of thing. So, um, you good, sir? You're out. I'm doing good. Oh goodness, thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Gary. So Gary's heading into work right now. Terrific guy, and so anyway, I won these Cleveland Indians tickets. Was able to give it back to Max, and we wrapped up and headed back to their home and set me up and got a nice shower and did some wash. And one of the other messages I got during that time was from a woman, Kathy, and she's like, "Hey, you're welcome. I got a place here in town to stay, and you're welcome. So let me know." Well, it turns out Kathy is Max's aunt, so she had reached out to me. And when I got here, I guess they had communicated, said, "No, we got him tonight. He's covered, but thank you." And they invited her over, so I come down from the shower, and there was Kathy, and she's like, "Hey, I don't have a lot, but I brought you a Gatorade and a granola bar for tomorrow." And but we talked, and we talked a little bit, and we actually talked about some business stuff and the point the thumb mantra and how it applies in her job, and how I would have handled things as a manager when I was a manager just 5 or 6 short weeks ago, running a facility, and that's probably a lesson in itself. And it was one of those things where when you have a group of people in corporate America, you have to treat everybody equally, and when you don't, it raises eyebrows and gets other people, you know, um, either offended or they lose respect, or if you're not being consistent. And I always subscribe a little bit different to that theory myself, and I know it goes against corporate America culture to some degree. But we talked about that, and again, maybe she got a little bit of a different perspective from it. Maybe I learned from her and got a little different perspective, and that's what a dialogue does. If I was trying to browbeat her and tell her, here's why this happened, or if she was telling me, no, you're wrong, this is the way it went down, I wasn't there. All she can do is ask my opinion. I can give it, and we had a dialogue, and it was nice. But she came by, a very sweet woman, and said goodbye to her, and went upstairs to talk to the kids and head off to bed. And then, so here's where a couple of other things were kind of neat that I wanted to talk about. So when I got up to my phone, which was charging, I had this message from a little fella in Connecticut, and he says, my son, I guess, wants to play video games with them, and I don't know how this works, but I guess in video games you can actually play with people from around the world and even talk to them. So my son must have told him what I was doing. And this little gentleman, David, 14 years old, reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm talking to your son. He's a really cool kid, and told me what you're doing. And just wanted to say hi, and and good luck." And I thought, how cool is that? That a 14-year-old not only is hearing about me, but A, feels comfortable enough to reach out to me, right? Because a lot of kids would be probably apprehensive. And then two, how it came to be. It didn't come to be from, a newspaper article. It didn't come to be from me passing out a card. It came from my 9-year-old son. So the fact that he's my new hype man is pretty cool. Um, Oh, I wanted to go back. So anyway, I did that article with James, and later on in the day, James sent me the article. I forwarded it to my IT helpers, and I think they're going to post it on the site today. And what was fun about this article is um, I'm starting to realize that I want to talk a little bit less about me, even though that is part of the story, and more about the point the thumb mantra. I want to start to kind of gradually make that more of the calling. Um, uh, but it's nice as there was an article done when I left in York, Pennsylvania. There was an article done by Renata in the Tribune Review in Greensburg, PA. I found out I haven't seen it yet, but I think the editor of the Pittsburgh Tribune did an editorial on me, and now there's this article here that was done. But you can see how the article is changing in content and substance because of some of the journey things that's happening, and that's kind of neat, right? Because it's getting less about me and more about the encounters and the goals. So, James, thank you for coming out in such short notice and meeting with me, and I really appreciate the article you did, and it means a lot to me. He also seems going to reach out to some folks up ahead that he may know, so maybe that turns into something as well, because as I've said, any publicity is great publicity. So last night I got a few things. I got young David that emailed me. I got Todd Ivy, the gentleman who was so gracious to me, and basically again just extended himself and said, "Look, man, I'm on your journey with you. Anything at all you need while you're in Ohio, let me know." And I said, "Look, you've done plenty." But he also put a comment in. He said, "Hey, thanks for blowing up my email today because I put a challenge out to the folks. I don't want to say followers because I feel like I'm some kind of prophet if I say followers, but to the folks that watch what I do on Facebook. A lot went to his email and thanked him for doing what he did. But I wanted to see the response. That I want people to know that we carry some weight and that we appreciate what people do. Not just me, but a lot of us, and we can appreciate it, on an ancillary way. And the gesture was done for me, yet other people are appreciative, and that goes a long way too. So I don't know. I hope his phone didn't blow up all day because I know what it's like when your phone's going crazy. But I thought it would be a cool, and I might even talk with him later to see how many emails he really did get from folks. But again, Todd Ivy, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. He's a realtor here in Central Ohio, and talk with him just a little bit. You can just tell character and good people. So then I fell asleep. I had some other emails from my kids and some family, and trying to get through some other personal stuff. And then I woke up today, and I was struck by two. So the first one was from Cody, who I met at the Bucyrus Diner. Now, one of the things I thought I would like to happen is, you see I wear my Virginia Tech hat a lot, and the truth is, if Virginia Tech's defense this year is as resilient as this hat, they're going to be a heck of a football team. I can't tell you, this thing gets soaked about 2 hours at every one of my journey where it's constantly just dripping off. But I'd rather drip on the concrete than on me. And I wash it and it just keeps coming back. But when I did the journey, I thought it'd be kind of cool if, I stopped somewhere, if someone wanted me to carry their favorite team or their diner or whatever, to give me a hat. Because they only have about a lifespan of 3 or 4 days. I had one from Stoystown that on the highway last week, a trucker, their gust of wind blew it off and it went into a creek, unfortunately, so I lost a hat. So I'm sorry, folks in Dave and Stoystown that gave me a hat. But anyway, there was a hat up in the Bucyrus Diner. I said, hey, just the thought, if you guys want me to wear that, if people see me or if I get a news chance, good advertisement, keeps my head dry, gives me a new hat, So unfortunately, it was the only one they had. He did ask, but he got me last night, apologized. It was nice to meet me. And so these little encounters, even though they're not long, simply pass on the card, it's touching people. And that meant that was pretty cool. And then I got this other one. So remember I was talking about the interview and the pictures in front of this mural and this little girl. Well, I got a really, really lengthy email last night, but it touched me in a lot of ways, and I got to be quick with this because I want to do. I've already gone past the two one, so the hell with it, we're going to keep going. So I didn't catch her name. I just read about a half hour ago, and I could look it up on my phone right now. But basically, she was saying, hey, I saw you at the square today, and I was with my nieces and her own child, and she really wishes me well on my journey, and she wishes she could have offered me a place to stay and a warm meal and a bed, but unfortunately she couldn't, for a couple of reasons. One is, I guess she stepped up and her nieces have been put in a bad situation back home, I believe in Connecticut. So have a great day and be safe out there. All right. All right. Her nieces were put in a bad situation, and she stepped up as a family member to take them in and try to make their life better. And I can't take my head off enough to that. If you remember earlier on when I was out in Greensburg, PA, I spent the night with Mike and Missy, and Mike is a youth services guy that places kids kind of with foster homes, but his first priority is to place them with another family member. And so I touched upon this and how important these folks are. And it's one thing to say, yeah, I'll take these kids in, but when Mike had when I talked with him, what a commitment that these folks make. It's not as simple as saying, yeah, drop them off at my doorstep and I'll take ownership for a little while. These folks make such a huge commitment. So this young lady last night, and I'll get her name later and give her some props. This young lady last night has taken in her two nieces and trying to give them the best scenario. Sir, so much. Thank you, but thank you for everything.
Max's number.
I do.
If you ever need
I do.
an emergency or need anything.
So thank you so much, guys. You guys are great. He's a great kid. Be so proud. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Be well out there. Can't thank you enough. I'm sorry, guys. Well, goodbye. So this young lady has these two nieces that she took in to try to give them a better life, and I can't take my head off enough to that. And then she shared a story that last year sometime she found somebody, she met somebody kind of, I don't want to say homeless, or maybe he was homeless, but she offered him, some humanity. She offered him a gesture, and it didn't turn out well. I don't think anything violent happened if I remember her email correctly, but I think the guy tried to take advantage. She couldn't get him to leave the home after a couple of days. I think it was just kind of, hey, I'll put you up for a night and take care of you. And with the understanding he'd be gone, well, he didn't want to leave, and that could get a little hairy. And now with kids in the house, she certainly can't afford to do that. So my point is that when I don't get a place to stay or anything like that, I don't take that to mean people suck. I don't take that to mean there are bad folks out there or anything along those lines. It's just, that's a practical reason. That's why I think when you meet the folks like I've met along the way, and I've shared the stories with you, how truly special it is, because in this day and age, with so many reasons to be hesitant and to be jaded, that these folks aren't. And that's the story I want to tell, that they're opening their homes and their stories to me, a complete stranger, and that's a pretty remarkable thing. So I thank her for sharing. I applaud her for taking on her nieces. I wish I could see them today at the square. She did say, hey, look, I'd be more than happy to cook you dinner or buy you, I don't know which one it was, but have dinner for you tonight. And I almost would like to just to meet the little ones and see how they are, and see that smile on her little face. And if she's listening right now, maybe she can even send me a picture if she wanted to. It's so precious, and that's what and hopefully these kids will learn. Maybe they get taught in school, point the thumb someday, right? And it de-escalates a lot of these situations. So but I thought the email was very poignant in some of the things that it said, and I'm sorry she had that bad experience. I appreciate the offer. I would have loved to have got to know her and the kids a little bit more, but look, that's what this journey is about. So I'll be heading today from Bucyrus to Upper Sandusky, Ohio. I'm going to text it in there because I'm running real long here with this, and we'll see what is in store for me today. So guys, thanks for listening. If you sat through all of this, Kira, love you, baby girl. And then you're the best kid. And Grace, I don't know if you're watching this. I know you're down in Carolina, catching some rays, and just avoid the sharks if you can. And I love all you guys, and thank you for following, and thanks for being a part of this journey with me. Please keep spreading the word. Please keep sharing stories. As I said on my webpage, pttjourney.com, Toby's done a few cool things. He's got this little tracker of where I'm going across the country, steps taken and miles walked, and he's also got a community page where stories like the one I just talked about could be posted, so we can share and we can learn from all these things, right? I want it to be a dialogue. I don't want this to just be Jim. So guys, jump on there, share stories, share thoughts, and so forth. All right, so love you all. Have a great day, and I'll catch up to you in the midday.